Guardians of the Galaxy.
Ooh.
2.
Ooga chaka chaka chaka. Ooga chaka chaka chaka. Ooga chaka chaka chaka.
I
Ooga
can
chaka
write
chaka.
this
Ooga chaka
feeling.
chaka chaka.
I
Ooga chaka
forget the beginning of
chaka
this
chaka.
song.
Ooga chaka chaka. Ah. Hooked
Hooked on
on
the...
the feeling,
Oh.
high on believing, because you're in love with me. Yeah. Don't you know, Greg? Most of the successful YouTubers have birds. JonTron had a bird. This woman named Commander Holly had a bird, and then there's this
And
other.
do they incorporate their birds if in the video?
Yes, because Guardians of the Galaxy has like a green tree man who's like the pet, and Captain Crunch is my pet. He's fluffy and green. He won't stay for long. I let him fly off, but you know, he's are you my little baby Groot?
I feel like
Groot. Yeah.
I feel like our other videos didn't quite get the views because of the Captain Crunch here
Yeah.
squeaking around.
Animals are very popular on YouTube. Haven't you ever heard of Monkey Boo?
Monkey
Like this
Boo?
guy who was a monkey, and he just gets drunk and plays with his monkey. All right, Captain Crunch. Let's let you head off. You want to stay there, Captain Crunch? Okay, Captain Crunch, we'll let you stay there. So we saw Guardians of the Galaxy 2 yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the theater. I originally had a plan to record the review in the theater. I thought it would be great. Didn't quite work out as planned. Greg's prediction of that the cleaner people would get in the way came true, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's a format no one's ever done before. I'm gonna make it work someday. I don't know how or when. Captain Crunch, why do you always get so noisy when we talk? Are you saying I am Groot?
I think Captain Crunch recognizes my voice.
I don't know. He always gets much more vocal when humans are talking. What do you want, Captain? What do you want? So, Greg, what do you think of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2?
It was okay. It didn't really do anything for me, but I thought it was okay. It was like a 5 out of 10 movie.
Oh, you're so cruel. On an IGN scale, that's like saying it's dirt. I mean, I can sort of agree with that sentiment. When the reviews were coming in, it was kind of people weren't as in love with it as I thought they would be, just because it's James Gunn, it's the second writer-director in a Marvel movie, because generally so far, with the exception of the Russo brothers, I think only one director has most directors at most will do 2 Marvel movies, and then they'll just be done. They'll be so bitter and chewed out by the system that they'll leave. Kind of like how Josh Whedon left, even though he made the $1 billion Avengers and the $1 billion Age of Ultron. After Age of Ultron, he's just kind of I'm done. I'm running with my money. And generally, we've seen a lot of filmmakers run and flee, but James Gunn was able to stick it through, which is weird because his sensibility is the most off kilter compared to every other Marvel movie, and he still manages to preserve that. We got a lot of dick jokes, we got a lot of talks about penises and impregnation, which is amazing that this is a Disney movie and we have Drax talking about enlarging his loins.
All right,
and you still have that sequence where the whatchamacallit, where Rocket Raccoon and Yondu murder all the Ravagers. It's this joyful thing as Yondu's arrow just impales all of the Ravagers.
I feel okay, there's that part in particular I had a few problems with, because he essentially sees himself as he's responsible for these other Ravagers. I mean, he ruthlessly kind of destroyed them all. And yet he still has he's more of a father figure to Peter than he is to any of his other Ravagers, which I think is very contradicting. It just kind of a little bit of bullshit thing.
There was a sort of morality assigned to it, why it was okay to murder all the Ravagers. Although you could say the Ravagers were kind of a little bit of a problem in the sense that they're these space mercenaries. Nobody really gives a shit about them. we get like introduced to Sylvester Stallone, who's like the leader. We learn that they're like this pirate culture with all these weird aliens, but like nobody gives a shit. And we're sort of like expected a little bit to care about their hierarchy and their how things work and whatnot, but nobody really does. And they're just kind of like treated like the Pirates of the Caribbean, where it's like, okay, you want to go back to your cage? You want to go get some water?
Please. I'll wait here patiently.
Come on, Captain. Go to your cage. Your baby group fun time is over. No. Maybe he is addicted to the sound of your voice, Greg. Maybe he's like, I remember you, Greg. I remember you from college. You have a sandwich.
Oh, God.
You have a sandwich. Please give me your sandwich.
Oh, God.
No.
So Isaac, remember when I asked you if you're ready to record this video? Isaac, remember when I asked you if you're ready to record this video?
We are totally ready for this. This is like brilliant storytelling. Completely riveting. This is like real natural stuff that people gravitate towards. Just like how Rocket Raccoon is real because he's this tortured animal thing. Yeah. But anyway, the Ravagers are kind of like portrayed like the Pirates of the Caribbean, where it's like they're all like, we're these evil scumbags that like have sex with robot hookers and get drunk and mistreat Baby Groot, but you're still supposed to love us.
Yeah.
Because you know how like the Pirates of the Caribbean, like we saw it in that whatchamacallit, in that like little preview for like the 5th Pirates of the Caribbean movie, where it's like, oh, your mother was a doctor in horology. Oh well, I've seen whores, and oh well, your mother was a whore.
In a mother in horology, like what?
Remember, Greg, there was that whole joke where there's this woman who like says like, my mother was a professor in horology, and then they which is the study of time, but they all think it sounds like whore, like whore.
Oh, you're talking about the Pirates of the Caribbean trailer? Like
yeah. Well, I was relating how the Pirates of the Caribbean, the side pirates, are kind of like the Ravagers, and that like they're these like quirky set of people that are like kind of degenerate, but you're supposed to love them.
Yeah, but I feel like that could have been like how Yondu treats his other pirate characters, other Ravager characters, would have been like a good correlation to how he treats Peter, in a way, like how he was like a better father to Peter.
Well, remember, like the big morality thing is that like the bad Ravager or the good Ravagers that are all on Yondu's side all get thrown out the airlock and die, because we have that scene when the guy gets thrown out the airlock, and whatchamacallit, he gets thrown out the airlock, and then they're like freezing in cold void of space, and those were all the good Ravagers that he left. That's the implication of the evil Ravagers. God damn it, Captain.
Yeah, I guess.
That's the idea. That's why they're supposed to be like the good Ravagers and the bad Ravagers.
If it's gonna fly back.
He's gonna go have some fun time. He's gonna go in space with the other Ravagers. So that
you put the captain in the airlock.
Put Captain in the airlock temporarily. He'll be acting sometimes. Sometimes the captain's really well behaved and he just likes to cuddle. Other times he just gets really noisy.
And he gets thrown out the airlock.
Yeah. Maybe next time I'll spray him with water. That usually quiets him down. He likes that. So that was the sort of morality of it. The Ravagers get thrown out the airlock. All the good Ravagers get thrown out the airlock. That means all the evil Ravagers are left, so we don't care what happens to them.
But we don't get any like. I don't know. I didn't feel that emotionally attached to Yondu in the story, because he was sort of like built up to be like, oh, I'm sort of like the sleazy but like still cool father figure to Peter in some ways, but he didn't really show any good qualities like throughout the movie.
His good quality was that like he helps Rocket and he helps Bomb with Rocket, because like the idea is that Rocket And he like saves Peter at the end. He has this big heroic thing where he self-sacrifices himself for Peter versus his biological father, who just wants to use him to take over the universe the universe.
But that's it. He doesn't show any like other sympathies. Like he doesn't get the chance to show any other sympathies towards the rest of his Ravager crew and everything like that.
You think that would have sold him better if we had like a few scenes or more of like showing him like, these are the good Ravagers. We like these space pirate mercenary guys.
Yeah, if there was like some kind of character moment where he was, helping out some other Ravagers, even though they did something bad or whatever, he stood up for them.
Sort of like ties into why Guardians of the Galaxy doesn't quite feel as strong as the first one. At the first one, there was like a very strong central MacGuffin that like all the characters tied around, which is like, there's the Infinity Gem. They all fight over the Infinity Gem, then they all fight together to stop the bad guy from using the Infinity Gem and doing bad stuff. So that sort of like gave it a thorough line that like united all the characters. And Guardians of the Galaxy, James Gunn did a fantastic job at introducing all these characters, making them memorable, making them all likable, making sure each one got their like cool, funny moments. The big problem with here is that like we get the initial like sort of like media res action storyline, which you see in a lot of sequels, where it's like, here's the team, they're in the middle of finishing up a mission before they start the new mission. And that mission is like, fighting the space monster to protect some batteries. But then, kind of meanders a little bit as like, they're forced to divide up. Rocket gets captured by the Ravagers, and they go on their little thing with Yondu. And then Peter goes on his little journey with his father, and Nebula has her bonding session with her
Groot
sister.
Becomes a cute mascot character, essentially.
He becomes a cute little mascot. Great. Baby Groot was. I prefer regular Groot. Baby Groot just felt like it was just meant there to sell plushies.
Yeah, I kind of felt that same way. I wonder how teenage Groot is gonna be.
Well, hopefully he'll be grown up by the time he appears in Infinity War. I did like teenage Groot. I thought that was pretty funny.
There's a few nice little humor segments to this movie. I mean, seeing the characters interact with each other sometimes is great. But like in terms of the rest of the story, like it didn't really, it wasn't that compelling.
It's like they spend half the time dividing each other, and then it like there's the introduction of Peter's father, who turns out to be Ego, the Living Planet, who we never thought we'd see in a movie, but he's played by Kurt Russell. So it's a lot of father issues, and because like for 3/4 of the movie, he's assumed to be good before he eventually makes his heel turn to become a villain. And I do kind of hate that. Where like I can't think of any good villain where in like the last few minutes they become a villain that like is very memorable. Just because like you don't have that time to really like build that conflicted relationship with the character. They don't really have enough time to kind of solidify them, and his sort of like plan is just kind of like feels like it came at last minute to up the stakes and like have the Guardians save like, the galaxy again, and it was just kind of like boring. Even though that scene where like it looks like all hope is lost, all the aliens are dying on all the worlds as the blue goo consumes everything, but then Chris Pratt summons his Super Saiyan powers and fights back to the tune of music and uses the power of Pac-Man. It was kind of cute.
All right, the Pac-Man was a little big. It was like got me one giggle with the Pac-Man summon. That was pretty funny.
Just one. I gotta say though, the Drax was like David Bautista was really good and continued to be really good as Drax.
Oh yeah.
So I was kind of worried that he'd be like a one-trick pony in the sense that like his gimmick was like, he doesn't get metaphors, he's so super serious, and he does all these other things.
I love how brutally honest he is about it. He's like is like to that woman. Well, I guess in his own way, his own weird sensibilities, because he's like brutally honest to that like woman with the antenna. He's like, you are hideous. I was trying to let you down easily, but I would never sleep with you.
I would never lay with you.
I would never.
And then it's like
their interactions were funny.
You know his deepest, darkest secrets.
It's like it's funny in these movies. It's like a whole bunch of like socially awkward aliens, and then You know, this funny, quirky human trying to all get along, and some big old spaceship adventure kind
Well,
of
that
thing.
is the charm of Guardians of the Galaxy. And one thing I gotta say though, James Gunn does a really good job. Is it almost feels like a $200 million version of like you remember that like heavy metal like old movie anthology.
I do remember that.
It feels like the ultimate pistache of like '80s science fiction, cheap like Saturday morning cartoons, and occasionally stuff you'd see in animation, only taken to like an incredible light. Everything is like really well designed and has this wonderful neon glow and is super colorful and bright and
Um, yeah,
super
it's sort
pulpy.
of like a very, but at the same token, I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily agree 100% with that because like heavy things like heavy metal was just like very machismo kind of thing
Yeah,
where
this is a little bit
um
more sedated than heavy metal, which was basically like the ultimate adolescent fantasy. But I still feel like
yeah
heavy metal, so something like the heavy metal movie and the magazine and whatnot, the comics, kind of had this vibe of like punk rock,
and
alternative
like
music,
saving
like
like
just
beautiful
like
women and
yeah,
huge
just like this
breasts and
13-year
everything.
old sitting there with his guitar, just jamming out to it with like a wizard and a dragon on his van is his ultimate fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Spray painted and Guardians of the Galaxy is kind of like that writ large.
Like that, but what? What's the word?
Writ large, made bigger, made manifest through a lot of money.
Mm.
The real interesting thing though is that like when the first Guardians of the Galaxy, there was a real hunger for Star Wars, and it kind of
Uh.
like scratched that itch. Uh,
Yeah.
but now that we actually have real Star Wars back, we live in an era where we're going to be getting Star Wars until the day we die,
Uh.
forever.
Thank
Um,
goodness. I mean, hopefully they'll make like a real knockout with Star Wars, but that's my hope. But I do appreciate Guardians of the Galaxy, the original one, sort of like scratching that itch of like, man, we wanted a really good Star Wars, and the prequels just weren't enough, and it hasn't come out, and there haven't been any Star Wars movies in like years. So
Yeah, Guardians sort
yeah.
of like scratch that itch, but like it begs the question: what is the purpose of having the Guardians of the Galaxy when you have real Star Wars? And that was the difficult thing. But so far, it
Mhm.
looks like it's going to make $1 billion and it's going to be super successful, and everyone's going to go home happy.
Yeah.
Except for like the niggling people who are like, kind of like that wasn't quite as good as I would have liked. I mean, it was still like I'd say it's a 7 out of 10.
5 out of 10 still, but
You're so cruel. Does it, does it have and Greg, did you like the extra backstory that was given to Nebula and Mantis, the blue girl?
I think Mantis was the empath.
Yeah, she was the empath with the little
And
dilly bobbers on her head. She was
yeah,
okay.
when you said
And
Nebula is the green one,
Nebula's
right?
the blue woman.
Oh yeah, yeah. Um, I like that actress. She's from the Doctor Who series with
Yep.
Matt Smith, and she was a really really uh, fun character with Matt Smith. I think they made a really great combo, and I'm actually happy to see more of her character in this movie. Like she played this part pretty well. I thought I liked
You
her.
liked her for, and the more of their sister relationship. Although it gets some good screen time. The stuff where it's like every time I lost a body part. Why wouldn't you understand that? You could have helped me and maybe lost once or twice over those
Uh,
fights.
I think I mean I think she did uh, Blue Sister did like a good part in that, but I felt like they could have uh what's her name? Uh the green
Gamora,
one?
Zoe Saldana, Gamora.
Gamora?
Yes,
Uh
that's what they.
Gamora, I didn't feel like she developed a lot in terms of this movie at all. She's just kind of like
Well,
very stoic
she
and
comes to terms with it. There's not a lot to go with. She's just like the badass lady woman who's the maybe romantic interest for Peter Quill, who's sort of a straight woman to the other Guardians.
But they had a sort of interesting dynamic with. I mean, they had some interesting stuff going on between the sisters. I thought they could have, expanded upon a little bit better, but I feel like it just didn't deliver that well, even though Blue Lady was very good in her role.
Well, one of the problems is that, so much of their stupid backstory is built around Thanos, and Thanos hasn't done anything, and he's supposed to be the big super thing of the everyone's afraid of. He's the Voldemort, he's the Darth Vader of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and all we've seen him do is sit in a chair and talks about how he's such a big deal.
We could have got more hints about what Thanos is all about. And
so there's two arguments on that side, and on one hand you could say that some directors are Josh Whedon said that he was pissed off about Age of Ultron because he was, on one hand, he wanted to tell one singular story, make that story the best it could be possible, and do the themes he wanted to tackle. On the other hand, there's the Marvel machine, which has to keep on building, keep on hinting at other movies, and that kind of hamstrung Age of Ultron, and kind of made it, not as satisfying as the Avengers. Because, there's so many things in Age of Ultron that it's oh, it's a payoff for the next thing. Oh, it's a payoff for the next thing. Oh, this is so important that Thor's going to have this vision so he can learn about what happens in Thor Ragnarok and know things are going to come because we got to set up these next movies. And those can become shackles and burdens that overweigh things. But and so in a storytelling perspective, you'd say that James Gunn should be able to do whatever he wants and make the best movie he could possibly make, and not have to be worried about the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe baggage. And you see a lot of that in Guardians of the Galaxy, and that it's generally self-contained. I mean, there are fun little references the Adam Warlock, the
okay, that's an important
Watchers, one. And other stuff that are continuing to expand the cosmic universe, but he got to tell one story. You didn't have to be shackled with a side plot where Thanos gains an Infinity Stone. Well, there is a part of it that just sort of wonders that Guardians of the Galaxy is the best place to actually build the mythology of the cosmic Marvel universe, and now we're starting to see that seep into other stuff, given the fact that Thor Ragnarok is just throwing everything out of the water and basically just kind of embracing the Guardians of the Galaxy Star Wars vibe.
And Thor Ragnarok, that fits it more so than any other Marvel characters. I feel like.
Well, Thor's kind of a cosmic character, and he's supposed to be a space alien.
The very first Thor. I mean, I haven't seen the second one. I haven't seen Dark World, but.
He didn't miss much, but it's not bad. Even the worst Marvel movies are all fun and entertaining. They just doesn't quite stand out.
Asgard is just it starts to expand into that kind of cosmic, futuristic kind of Marvel vision that is basically what Guardians of the Galaxy is. It's sort of like the beginning parts of it. It's
a little bit, although so Thor genre is basically faux Shakespearean melodrama, and it also has this sort of fantasy vibe in it, even though it's the take of the techno future, sort of keeps it in line with the more science-based aspect of the Marvel universe.
Yeah. I thought, the ideas around Asgard, how that universe worked. It's revolving around gods, magic, and a little bit of technology, a smidgen of technology. I thought that was kind of cool. I like that.
I don't know. Maybe it's on Netflix. You should get a chance to see Thor: Dark World and see what you think.
Maybe.
I mean, it's still better than Suicide Squad and whatchamacallit. I'm sure whatchamacallit. DC would be very happy if they had something that was as good as Thor Dark World. Sadly.
Yeah. Well, in that case, maybe I should have watched Dark World before any of those other movies.
Well, how many of the DC Marvel movies have you seen? Have you seen all of them, or how many have you missed?
For Marvel, there's Dark World I haven't seen. There's.
Did you see Winter Soldier?
I saw Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier was pretty good.
Obviously, you saw Guardians of the Galaxy.
I haven't seen every single X-Men movie.
We're just doing MCU. We're not like including the Fox. We're not including Fox. We're not including Sony.
I haven't seen Ant-Man. I haven't seen
Okay.
Ant-Man.
Okay, so that's like I think the last of Phase 2. Did you see Age of Ultron?
Oh yeah, how can I forget? I saw the beginning part of Age of Ultron. I didn't finish it.
Oh, that's a big one to miss.
I kind of like snuck into the theater to check it out a little bit, and then I had to go see because I got a ticket for Mad Max at the time.
Ah.
Which I think we'll get to that another time. But anyway, Guardians of the Galaxy 2. What else about it? Just thought it was okay.
Yeah, it was a good time. Didn't quite like, had a high bar. Didn't quite cross that high bar, but still competently told. Maybe not as perfect as everyone would have liked it to be, but always keep your fingers crossed and hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still a satisfying ride. I'm sure everyone's going to be very entertained. Everyone's going to love Baby Groot and buy lots of Baby Groot merchandise, and maybe it'll stand a chance of, superseding
I
opinions.
sort of have a Baby Groot merchandise. This thing.
What is that?
This is like a League of Legends sapling thing.
Yeah, you got Baby Groot before it was cool, but there's gonna be so much Baby Groot action figures and T-shirts and memes and oh man, just you wait. It almost makes you wonder why James Gunn made him turn into Teenage Groot, considering how much money there's to be made from Baby Groot.
Yeah, maybe they gotta make the raccoon cute or something into a cute mascot.
But we'll see. I'm very curious to see if it has $1 billion. But Greg was okay. I thought it was it's fun, but didn't quite like go ahead of that. So, and I guess that's pretty much covers our thoughts of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Did you like Kurt Russell as Ego? Do you think Ego was an iconic villain, or not quite live up to
really. Didn't feel like enough time to develop him, and
yeah, he just kind of has a real big quick turn where it's like, oh, he's evil and something's not right, and then they all gotta fight him.
I'm your evil father, just fight me.
But what about the gold people, the Sovereign?
They were like a joke. They were portrayed as a joke throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, well, they did have that one gag, the really good gag, where they're like laying out the carpet, but then they like kind of hinges and they can't quite.
There are a lot of gags,
Yeah.
The whole like them playing like basically a video game to like try and take down. They're like playing a little arcade shooter game to take down Peter and the rest of his crew.
Yeah, that was a little fun little joke, and then them laughing at like Taserface.
Yeah, laughing at Taserface. Like it's really hard to ever take them seriously at all. I never took them seriously for a second.
Yeah, maybe you weren't supposed to. It was kind of funny that they kept on like having them show up as like they just had to have them in that last action sequence so they could throw in some more space battles.
Yeah, I guess so.
But so that's our thoughts of Guardians of the Galaxy. We saw one other movie, which we'll do a video for in a few minutes. And like, subscribe, do all that good shit.
All right, see you guys.